please.
So it's going to be a really quick one, because I only have something like 10 minutes instead of half an hour. I would like to talk. It's not about my favorite topic, but some people ask, what about workshops and what about social enterprises? So I give you some examples from Germany. Where people with Down syndrome work in Germany, 80% will work in workshops, and we are not using the word sheltered any longer. As, you know, there's some reasons for that, because the workshops nowadays are different from the sheltered one we had before. 10% of the people are visiting day activity centers. That means there's older people with Down syndrome or people who are not able to work in the workshops. And about 10% of the people are working on the job market, on the first market. No one with Down syndrome is at home. So everybody goes somewhere, which is a good thing.
So it means that all people,
all
nearly
people with Down
100%,
syndrome, nearly
of them
100% go. Yeah,
And
80% go is workshop, 10% on the first market, and 10% in the day activity centers.
Sorry, I've seen your presentation 2 years ago.
No, this is different, yeah.
You have changed the...
Change some.
So there are some changes in percentages, or... because I remember quite distinctly.
Yes, some things I checked. Well, I made shorter. The percentages.
No, the percentages of
is about the same. Yeah. So we have 700 workshops in Germany. So it's a lot, and there are 300,000 workers in the workshops, and about 7 to 8% of those 300,000 are Down syndrome, people with Down syndrome. The workers are people with intellectual, psychological, and severe and multiple disabilities. So it's a whole range of people working there. And among them, you know, a lot of people with Down syndrome. What are they doing? In the past, it was a lot of mechanical work. It was a lot of monotonous, dull work, things we would say we would not like, you know, our children to work there. This kind of work, you know, when we see this, you get nervous because, but the lady is very happy with it. So, but these are the type of the old sheltered workshops. Nowadays, they do a lot of contract work, assembly, packing, mail orders for industry and for trade. They have own production like woodwork, wooden toys, furniture, handicrafts, weaving, pottery, and then they have their own shops to sell those things. They do a lot of service supply, EDV, things, gardening, farming, recycling, so all kind of, you know, services are offered through the workshops. So it's not the boring type of work any longer. There might be some of these things, but it's more interesting. And you know, these very nice buildings, there are a lot of money involved in this kind of workshops. This is one of the workshops. And you know, we have garden groups, people working at machines, so it's challenging work. The structure, you start with this, after school, you start with a 3 months introduction procedure. Then you have a vocational training, 24 months in this workshop. And after that, you are, you know, going to one of the areas. You choose what you like most. But of course, not all workshops have all areas. So you have to choose from things they offer in the place where. But you know, all kind of different things you can do. How many hours do people work? 35 to 40 hours a week. But this includes also the lunch breaks and the coffee breaks, and they have quite a lot of breaks. Also include in this program or in this working scheme is 4 hours further education. So while they are in the workshops, they can do courses in English, in reading and writing, in computering, or in leisure things, music, dancing. And it is during the time they are in the workshops. It's on a voluntary base. If they don't want to do a course, then they just stay, you know, in their place where they work. They work. What do they earn? Not a lot. You see, they get as a trainee in the first 2 years, 3 years, they get 80 euros. After that, 150 up to 300. 300 would be the most what they can reach in the workshop. But also they get all insurance paid for, they get the lunch, they get the transport, so this is included. And on top of it, the advantages of working in a workshop is you cannot be unemployed, you cannot be dismissed, so you just stay there. The occupation must be guaranteed, and after 20 years you have the possibility to stop working and you get quite a high pension. A person who worked in 20 years in a workshop would get a higher pension as, like me, I get in Germany. So it's interesting, but a lot of the people don't want to stop after 20 years, so they just go on working. But if they can do, and then they have quite a good money.
I'm sorry, do they also get any other pensions?
Yes, okay. Here. Additional, they get financial support, because they only have this 200 or 300 euros, so they get residential and care allowance, they get other benefits, and they come up to 900 euros a month. That would be, you know, what they get altogether. But it is a lot of paperwork, because this ones you have to, every year you have to apply again and show that your situation is the same and things like that. But this comes, the 900 a month is about the minimum wage in Germany, so that's what they can get. Yeah. So. But since 2000, and even more since 2006, there was more pressure on these workshops, because this is not inclusion at all. It is a segregated thing. So they got, they had to do something about it. So they are now searching new forms of workplaces on the first job market, and they create something which they called outwards placement. So an outward placement would be, for instance, you go and work with Volkswagen, Mercedes, the car industry. We have a lot of people from workshops working there, sometimes in groups, 4 or 5 men go and work with Mercedes, or they were, in other EDV service. So as a group, they go and work somewhere else, or as an individual, they go and work some kindergarten, the hospitals, but they stay workers. They stay workshop users, so it means they get the same low money, yeah, and they have the same advantages as the ones who stay in the workshop, but they are outside somewhere.
What's EDV?
EDV, they do all kind of scanning paperwork, scanning photo.
Office.
Yeah, yes. Yeah. So this young guy, he is working outside, and he is, outside anyway, but outside the workshop as well. He's just, one of the cleaning groups from the city council, or this one is working in one of the factories. So they are on outward places, but still are workshop users.
So why don't they go?
The advantages for employers very much, that's very good for them, because the job coaching is done by the workshop, so they don't need to organize job coaching. For them, there are nearly no costs, because the worker is paid by the workshop. They save their special tax, because they have people with disabilities working for them. If something goes wrong, well, never mind, you send him back to the workshop. So they are not really motivated to do, to keep them, because it's much easier this way. And it's good for their image, because on the website they would say they have 10 people with disability working for them. So it's very good for them.
Why do they have this tax or something?
Oh, normally they have to pay
because
tax.
They're not paying those.
No, but still they have people, they give the possibility that they do something. So this is...
it's not like from wages.
No. So this was the one thing, the workshop and the outward places, and the other ones are the social enterprises, inclusion firms, also called in Germany. We have 900 inclusion firms at the moment, and they have 26,000 employees. These firms are operating on the normal open market in competition with others, so they have to really they have to deliver good products and good services. They have between 30 and 50% of their employees are people with a disability. But these workers are no patients, they are not in a rehabilitation program, they are regular employees with regular contract, regular wages and everything, regular. So, and that is how it looks like. These are the companies, they are growing quite fast, nearly 900 in 2016, so there will be more at the moment. They have 26,000 employees, about half with disability and the other half without a disability. There you see the tabels. And 22% of these people would have a learning disability, so there will be a lot of people with Down syndrome in this group. 29% mental disorders and 49% other kinds of disabilities. And they're working in all this, the catering, handiwork, cleaning service, industry, trade, gardening, farm, nearly everything. Hotels, seminar houses, laundry, office services, and so on and so on. So in all kind of firms. And I think I have two, interesting examples of such an inclusive firm. One is the Cap Market. It's an organization who started in 1999 to buy, to take over food markets in cities who were going to be closed because all the people would buy, on the big supermarkets outside town, and so the smaller places in town would close down. So they buy this kind of shops, and now and in these shops people with disability will work. And at the moment we have 104 Cap markets in Germany, so in a lot of cities. So and it's very good because the people in the cities can go and walk to their shops like they did before. And a lot of people with disabilities have the possibility to work in this quite nice, nice place to work in a nice food markets. They now are opening cappuccino points. So it's coffee points in these food markets, but also other firms can install a cappuccino point in their companies, and people with disabilities can work there. And the other thing is the Embrace hotels. Started in 1993 in Stadthaus Hotel in Hamburg. Was the first hotel who were giving jobs to 8 people with a disability, and they were nearly all, they had Down syndrome. That was our first hotel, and at the moment there are 40 hotels in this group, even some are outside, some are in the north of Italy, some in Austria, and a lot of people with Down syndrome are included, are in these kind of hotels. We have discussed because what is valuable, what is Embrace. Embrace, it still has a touch of disability thing. It is not so to the open market as the valuable, but it's still a good option for a lot of people. So yeah. So this was quick. Well, that's all.